Well, I'm from California, and my father was my first brass teacher. So he started me on trumpet, and eventually I switched to the trombone. And when I was about 14 years old, there was a competition that was very important in San Francisco. It was sponsored by Pepsi Cola, and I was the winner. And it allowed me to be soloist with the San Francisco Symphony, and I was able to go to Europe to see Europe for the first time, and I realized that I might have a chance to make it as a trombonist. So that was the defining moment, and I believe my father was the most influential person for me because he was a brass player. He played in the Metropolitan Opera in New York City, and so. Well, the original famous trombone soloists were all jazz players. Tommy Dorsey, Jack Teagarden, J.J. Johnson. It wasn't until after those people came on the scene that classical trombone soloists became important. And so there were a few before me and Christian Lindbergh, but not very many. You know, I think I don't want to take that much credit for it, but I think Christian Lindbergh obviously decided to become a soloist full time. I'm an orchestral player who's a soloist. So anyway, I believe that in the Chick Corea piece, you're going to hear lots of jazz influenced kind of playing. It's not just classical playing. So I cross over a little bit into that genre. And so anyway, I believe that because of the slide and because of its history in jazz, that the instrument is able to communicate very effectively any style of music. Well, the last part of your question happened when Alan Gilbert, our music director, he was very friendly with Makoto Ozone, the famous Japanese jazz pianist. And Makoto came to New York. He soloed with the Philharmonic, and then he went down to the Blue Note to play with Gary Burton. And anyway, Alan Gilbert invited me. Why don't we go down and listen to Makoto and Gary Burton? I said, great. And so on that night, they performed a piece by Chick Corea called Brasilia. And I heard it and I was very inspired. And I said, I wonder if Chick Corea would ever consider writing me a concerto. And I went and asked Makoto, and Makoto texted and said, well, let me text him and see if he's interested. And he wrote back and he said, yeah, I'd love to find out more. So Chick Corea texted me, and on my iPhone I have all the texts, hundreds of texts. Maybe not hundreds, but at least 100. And we became friendly, and he invited me to his house in Florida to see, what it's like. And so I played for him. I was very nervous playing for Chick Corea, the great Chick Corea. But anyway, the final, to make a long story short, he said yes. And I was very, very lucky, and it shows you that it's important to have courage to ask something. They can always say no, but sometimes they say yes.
Yeah.
Chick Corea and Gary Burton was here.
Oh, I bet. Right here.
Yes.
Incredible. Well, when we played together, the collaboration was talking about improvisation. And the piece starts out with just the trombone improvising in the beginning by the solo trombone, no orchestra. So we agreed on that, and that's the way I was thinking that it might start also. So, I loved it. I've always loved his music. I've very inspired by all his compositions. And anyway, when we met, we just started talking very freely about the piece. And he wanted the piece to be a modular piece. So meaning that you could play, one movement and make, on a recital or each piece would be like, a something you could do anywhere. Okay, each movement. But the interesting part of this story is that all the movements, there were 5 movements, they all ended very quietly and peacefully. And so I was hoping for a big finish. And so I had to call him and ask if he would rewrite the end, the last movement. Oh, I hear they're rehearsing the Chick Corea right now. So anyway, he agreed to rewrite the last movement, and it has a huge finish. I'm very excited about it.
Well, you really asked Chick Corea to rewrite.
I know. Yeah. He said, why do you want to do that? I said, well, the last movement's a tango, and if there's 2 people dancing the tango, usually one person is trying to impress the other person with their dancing abilities, right? And then there's kind of a victory because, wow, this person really can dance. And so I was thinking of it as something like that, where there's a very celebratory moment where the one dancer is very impressed with the other. And then why not finish in a very big way?
Yeah, and why not to ask?
Yeah, so he wrote a great ending.
Sure.
Well, every meeting like this with the soloist and an orchestra, it's a collaboration. And I can hear the orchestra rehearsing right now. They're very good. So I'm very excited about that. I believe that when somebody smiles at the end of a concert and they're enjoying the music and you can see in the audience they're happy, and I feel that this piece is a piece that honors the life of Chick Corea. This probably is the last piece that he also composed. I'm not exactly sure about that, but I've been told that. And anyway, so I feel that not only is the music, generally very happy and positive throughout, it's a moment of time where we've lost a great artist, and this is possibly the last thing that they composed.
Perfect, Maestro. Thank you so much for this conversation.
You bet.